name's Eddy, and I'm doing a vegetarian diet. Vegetarianism is a diet, and for some, an ideology. It was begun by the Hindus and the Buddhists, and the main idea is to avoid eating meat. The first vegetarian society was formed in the 19th century, and the Toronto Vegetarian Association was started in 1945. The main idea is to avoid animal goods and live using plant foods like grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Vegetarianism can be divided by how much animal goods a person does not use. A lacto-ovo vegetarian is a person that eats dairy and eggs. A strict vegetarian does not eat any meat, dairy, or eggs. A vegan is a person that does not eat or use animal goods. Why be a vegetarian, you ask? There are reasons. From a personal position, a change to a vegetarian diet can help reduce emotional distress and manage personal weight. It can also reduce the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, coronary artery disease, and non-insulin dependent diabetes. However, vegetarian diets can lead to iron deficiencies or other vitamins if not planned well and balanced with other foods. From an environmental position, agriculture produces 60% of all nitrous oxide and 50% of all methane emissions. Both are greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change. Methane is produced from the manure of livestock that digests foods using microorganisms. Cows are the largest producer of methane. Plant foods contribute 2.5 kilograms of carbon dioxide per kilogram of food, whereas other non-plant foods can contribute up to 30 kilograms of carbon dioxide per kilogram of food. A change to a vegetarian diet can help reduce these greenhouse gases. That's why you should go green.
Hi, I'm Maggie, and I'm doing a 5-day organic diet. An organic diet refers to eating a diet that is free of antibiotics, synthetic pesticides and herbicides, toxic chemical agents, growth hormones, petroleum or sludge-based fertilizer. It do not contain any bioengineered genes known as genetically modified organisms. Produce is grown with natural fertilizers. Insects are controlled with natural methods such as traps or birds, and there is no use of pesticides and herbicides. Livestock are given organic feed and have access to the outdoors to prevent crowded conditions, increasing the likelihood of illness. Benefits of an organic diet are antioxidants, freshness in produce, reduces pollution, conserves water, and reduces the possibility of antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria in meats. However, don't be tricked by labels because natural does not mean organic. Only when produce and meat have the country's official organic label is it certifiably and legitimately organic. A major disadvantage for organic diet is that there isn't a lot of variety in supermarkets and it can be quite expensive.
Hello, I'm Sandy, and I'll be participating in the low-carbon diet. This calls for a change in lifestyle, but we'll just be focusing on the diet for now. The objective is to choose more sustainable food in your diet and in return help reduce the impact of global warming. What this diet entails is a reduction in meat, dairy, processed and packaged food, as well as a reduction in food waste. The low-carbon diet intends to decrease the consumption of fast food in our society and instead promote eating locally and seasonally. Therefore, when deciding on what to eat, we had to take into consideration how our food was transported, processed, and cooked. For example, we should be able to find out how far the product has traveled and through what method. The advantage of the low-carbon diet is that you would greatly decrease the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that would have normally been emitted, and therefore lessen the impact of global warming as mentioned previously. Another advantage is that you get to improve your health and reduce the risk of health complications. I think the biggest obstacle will be that it will be very time-consuming to plan out your meals and trying to find all the food. It may be even a little pricier than your normal diet. I think it'd really help if you can implement the diet gradually and then get used to it. However, I only have 5 days, so I'm going to make the most out of it. We'll see how that goes.
Hi, I'm Vitheya, and I'll be doing the local food diet. So what exactly is local food? There is actually no universally accepted definition, but it is often described in relation to geographic boundaries. Local food is essentially food that is produced in regions that are close in proximity to where you live, usually under a 100-mile radius. With respect to Hamilton, that's as far north as Vitheya Beach and as down south as Lake Erie. But how exactly does eating locally grown food support a more sustainable environment. Proponents for local food emphasize the environmental benefits of reducing food mileage, which in turn reduces greenhouse emissions, pollution, and packaging used to transport food. There are also social and economic benefits, which include strong community ties, food security, and supporting the local economy. Critics of the local food diet argue that the transport of food actually only accounts for 4% of total emissions, and that it is in fact the production itself that is significant. They also point out that certain countries depend on their food exports to support their own economy, something eating local food will impact. In addition, they claim that locally grown food often costs more, is less accessible, and not every region is able to produce their own food. By eating only locally grown food for 5 days, I hope that I can better understand the pros and cons associated with this diet.